to episode number 8 of the actually this is episode number 9, my bad, but this is still the SCSL. And we are here in week number 9 of this first season. And our League 1 game is going to be number 9 Texas taking on TCU on the road here in Fort Worth. And so we are just going to go see if Texas can get the win here and avoid being upset like the last time they were in our watch game for League 1. That was when they lost on the road to Iowa State. And I believe that was their only loss of the season to this point. But right there, early first quarter, that pass will be picked off by TCU. And Sam Ehlinger with a poor start to the game. Later on, it's a 4th and 1 for the Horned Frogs, and they're going to go for it. And the handoff will go up the middle for 7, and a 4th down conversion for TCU. The drive continues. And on a 2nd and 2, they will hand it off, and into the end zone goes Siwo Olonilua. And so TCU would strike first, but Texas looking to have the answer. Andrew Beck is going to be knocked out of bounds just shy of the pylon. So it'll be 4th and goal from the 1, and Texas is going for it. They'll hand it off, and stood up and stuffed is Trey Watson. Watson didn't get it. A goal line stand for the TCU defense. However, the Horned Frogs could do nothing on offense. Texas would get the ball back, drive down the field, and kick a field goal. And then TCU would drive down the field on their next drive. They got 1st and goal. Thrown, diving in the end zone is Kavontae Turpin. And Turpin with the touchdown grab to give TCU the 14-3 lead. Texas would march right down the field again. They would kick another field goal. That would give us an 8-point game, as TCU would get into field goal, or not field goal range, but Hail Mary range just before half. The pass to the end zone will be picked off, and our halftime score is TCU 14 and Texas 6. Texas would take the ball here, middle 3rd quarter, and a field goal try would be no good, so it remains an 8-point game. And on 2nd and 10, going deep, man wide open in the end zone is TCU for the touchdown. Collins with his second touchdown pass of the day. That one was to Jalen Rager. And it's now 21-16 right there. 3rd and goal again. TCU a prime chance to put some hurt on the Longhorns, but instead it'll be picked off. They wanted the screen and a huge, big-time turnover for this Texas defense. Final play of the 3rd quarter now. Ehlinger going to take off. He's going to cough up the ball. Ehlinger coughs it up. It's a fumble, and TCU's got it right back, and that could be devastating for Texas. As now we are down to the 3:15 mark of the 4th quarter. That pass will be intercepted. It went to the screen. It's picked off, and TCU will take this one to the end zone. Gladney with the pick 6, and that will seal this game probably. 22-point game, man, wide open deep down to the 1. But Texas is in a world of hurt. On 1st and goal, they would be able to get into the end zone. And they would go for 2 and get the 2-point conversion. So it would be 28-14. TCU would tack on a field goal and win this one 31-14. But Texas, another upset here. This one also on the road, this time at TCU. And so for the 2nd time this season, Texas has been upset in a watched game. The defense played okay. Dicker went 2 of 3 on his field goal tries, but really TCU, they did a good job limiting the Longhorns' offense. 2 field goals and 1 touchdown, and that was all they had going for them. And so looking at the rest of the League 1 games, Mississippi State hammers Kentucky. Thompson is your player of the game, went 15 of 22, 264 yards. He was a monster. Mississippi State lost the opener against Oklahoma State. They've won 6 straight since, and they're up to number 5 in the nation. And so they have a big user showdown against South Carolina in Week 10. We'll see if they can get the win and continue the hot streak. Louisville will lose to Syracuse 28-10. The Cardinals will fall to 4-3 on the year. The passing game is terrible. 2 quarterbacks that combined for no touchdowns and 4 interceptions. Dawkins had 9 catches for 105 yards, really the only bright spot on that offense. Your player of the game honors go to Etheridge. There's an interception for character. And so the defense played okay, but the offense did not help the cause at all. And South Carolina will get the win against Missouri. They're now 6-2 as they head into the user showdown against Mississippi State. Your player of the game would be Wanham for the Gamecocks, who had 9 tackles. He had 6 tackles for loss, 2 sacks, and a forced fumble. Also, a forced fumble from Mukamu and a fumble recovery from Brunson and picks from Williams and Ibe. And so the defense showed out. They got 3 turnovers. White made his only field goal try. And Maryland would lose to Michigan 37-13. The Terrapins fall to 3-4 on the year. They're 1-2 in conference play. Pigram had no turnovers, but really the offense just couldn't muster enough yardage or points. And that's kind of all there is to say about that. You have a forced fumble from Watson and Oluwatimi, and Petrino made both of his field goal tries. Then Pitt gets hammered by Clemson 48-7. The Panthers fall to 3-4. They're 2-3 in conference play. Pickett had an okay game, but just overall not enough offense and certainly not enough defense. Clemson was just too tough. The number 3 Tigers easily handled Pitt by 41 points. And a fumble recovery for Stocker and a pick for Williams. So the defense did force a couple turnovers, but they still gave up 48 points. And Ohio State would take down Penn State. They're still unbeaten, 3-0. This one was a 13-7 ball game. So a pretty close game. Not a ton of offense, but a pick 6 for the Buckeyes. And they were able to hold off the upset bid and get the win. A pick from Harrison, a pick from White, and then Wade had the pick 6, so 3 interceptions for the defense. The kicker only went 2 of 4 on field goal tries. As we now move to our League 2 game, it'll be UCLA at Oregon in a user showdown. And so we will see. Oregon's been struggling. You can see they're 3-4, 1-3 in conference play. Not a great season so far for the Ducks, who began the season ranked and nearly lost FCS in the first week. UCLA comes in with a 1-2 conference play and a 500 overall record. And Herbert will be playing for Oregon again. He's been a little bit dinged up this season, but he's back on the field today, and he's going to start things off with an interception. It'll be picked off by Darnay Holmes in UCLA with the early turnover. The first incompletion for Herbert is picked, and UCLA would drive down the field. It would stall out, but they would settle for 3. The kick would be good, and so it's 3-0 UCLA. Oregon marching down the field. They'll go screen pass. That's picked off again. Holmes with his second pick of this first quarter, and Herbert is off to a slow start here today. Herbert's 6-10, but he's already got 2 first quarter interceptions. UCLA would move the ball down the field, and Demetric Felton would make the grab in the end zone for the touchdown. So it's now 10-0 Bruins, and later on it would be 3rd and goal. A minute left first half. Soso Jamavo would get the touchdown, and it's a 17-0 ball game, UCLA. Herbert's back to pass. He's going to be picked off yet again. 3rd first half interception for Justin Herbert. Not a good return for him. And UCLA would take advantage right here down to the 2. Caleb Wilson gain a 20. Looking to make this a 24-0 game before we even reach the locker room. And on 3rd and goal, they would do just that. Man open in the end zone is Matt Alemo. And the tight end would put UCLA up 24-0. This is a blowout, folks. But right there, Spade will be picked off. Oregon finally trying to get something to get them back into this ball game. Verone McKinley III comes up with the interception. The drive would stall out. They would try for 3, and the kick would be through the uprights and good. So Oregon on the board. They're still down by 21, though. They get the ball back, and They would settle for another field goal. This one also good, so it's still a three-score game at 18 points. But back to pass to Spade. He'll throw on the screen. And there goes Kelly. Big hole down the sideline, inside the 20, down inside the 10. The screenplay goes for a big gain down the third quarter. And in the fourth quarter, going into the end zone is Joshua Kelly, gain of 6. Another touchdown for the Bruins. It's 31-6. And intercepted again is Justin Herbert. Things are unraveling for the Ducks here. Herbert with 4 interceptions, no touchdowns. And UCLA would come in, they would kick another field goal. And so it's now a 28-point ball game. 4th and 9, going back to pass. That's caught. And a flag for a face mask as well. It would set up a 2nd and goal. Herbert's going to the end zone. He's got a man open, and it's a touchdown for Brian Addison. Probably too little too late with 2:10 left. But you can see Oregon is going to recover the onside kick, so we'll see what happens here. 21-point game. They would need a few more touchdowns, a few more onside kicks. But instead, Herbert would be picked off, and that'll be all she wrote, folks. 5 interceptions from Herbert today. He had a terrible game. 198 yards, 1 touchdown, but the 5 interceptions just absolutely killed them. And really not much in the way of the ground game either. They had a total of 4 rushing yards. So the offense really never got much of anything going, and this game was a blowout at halftime, and really it ended up remaining so. It's still a 3-possession win for the Bruins. Stack did make both of his field goal tries though, so there's that, I guess. Spate went 15 of 21, a touchdown and a pick. Molson 1 of 1 for a touchdown. And Kelly had 92 yards in the score on the ground. Spate had 9 carries, 82 yards. Defensively, Darnay Holmes with 2 interceptions. They also have a bunch of tackles for loss, and Holmes from Shaw, Maters, and Samuel as well. Molson made both of his field goal tries, and UCLA wins this one in a romp. Elsewhere in League 2, Eastern Michigan takes down Northern Illinois 24-17. So 6-1 is Eastern Michigan. Their only loss so far is to Rutgers. Uyghurs 14-25, 2 scores, 2 picks. A backup had a touchdown and an interception. Shaq Van 21 carries, 110 yards. Van also had 3 catches for 53 yards in the receiving score. Sexton had 79 yards and 2 receiving touchdowns as well. And the Eagles are able to get the win against the Huskies. As you can see, forced fumble and a pick from Rach Wall, and Williams also had an interception, fumble recovery from Scott. So the defense chips in with some timely turnovers, and Eastern Michigan gets the win. Nebraska will take down Minnesota 28-12. Adrian Martinez, 17 of 33, 192 yards, 2 scores, 1 pick. 12 carries, 61 yards for Divino Zigbo. Morgan had 6 catches, 42 yards, 4 for 45, and a score for Spielman. And Stoll also had a receiving touchdown. And, 8 tackles for loss for Freedom, Ack, and Moladoon. And you can see he also had 2.5 sacks. You have an interception, a pick 6 from DiCaprio Boodle. Will Honus also had an interception. And Nebraska gets the win, as Kansas State also gets a win. They take down West Virginia 30-14. The win will improve the Wildcats to 3-4 on the year. Your player of the game is Zuber with 11 catches, 175 yards, 2 scores. He was a big part of the offense here today, as the Wildcats will get the win. You have an interception from Goolsby, and that's the only turnover, but it's still a 16-point win for the Wildcats. Michigan loses again. They are now 2-5 on the year. This time they lose to Maryland. And your player of the game is Charbonnet for Michigan. He had 22 carries, 74 yards, 2 touchdowns. Interceptions from Metellus. I would imagine that would be a pick 6. Don't remember for sure off the top of my head. Hill also had an interception, and the kicker missed 2 field goals. And elsewhere, Penn State, the final League Two game here, they would beat Ohio State in a close one. And Slade would have a receiving touchdown. Your player of the game would be Gross Matos. He had a forced fumble. He had 2 tackles for loss. A pick from Taylor, fumble recovery from Wade, forced fumble for Joseph, and a fumble recovery for Johnson. That'll do it for me, and I will see you guys next time. Have a great day, everybody.